This weekend's results made a tight race in the URC even tighter. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. Some absolutely amazing results this weekend. Of the top 8 in the URC going into round 12, Leinster, the only team to actually beat a team ranked below them in the league, and of the entire round of fixtures, Zebre, the only other team that managed to beat a team that were below them, and that was the Dragons in last place. So a lot of teams who are lower down in the league making progress this weekend and just bunching up that table, and it's hugely competitive now. We're going to talk about very quickly each of the games, and then we'll have a look at the table. You can see for yourself how close it is. So we're going to start with Munster 28, Edinburgh 34. So Edinburgh start off. Thompson pops over a penalty, gives them a lead. Then about 10 minutes later or so, Nankerville gets over for Munster after a sustained period of pressure from then, converted by Burns, and they have the lead. But then we have, a run of tries from Edinburgh. So Thompson gets over, converts his own try. Then we have a double from Curry, and we've only got about maybe 5 minutes to half time. And then just before the break, Bradbury, who had an absolutely excellent game, gets over for them as well. Edinburgh look in complete charge at that stage. Then into the second half, Munster, meant a little bit of a comeback. Nankerville over for them, but then Curry completes his hat trick with about just before the 20 minute to go mark. And then we have a couple of tries. So O'Connor, first of all, from Munster, gives them an inkling of a chance, of an actual comeback to win the game. Can't really do much with that, but they do get over through O'Brien in the last minute, and then Burns, crucial conversion from him, and that gets them the losing bonus point. At that point as well, Harrison was in the bin for Edinburgh. So Edinburgh, fantastic performance from them, especially after coming off the back of that loss to Zebre, and Munster were looking in decent form coming into this as well. So bit of a shock result here, but there's lots of shock results this weekend. Next one then is Zebre Parma 31, Dragons 21. So Dragons get, a great start. Coughlin over to score for them. But then a few minutes later, Lakata over for Zebre, and the game kind of swings back and forth. Dragons then, seem to establish a decent lead. Coughlin with a second, and then Westwood get over like 10 minutes to go to half time. They've got a 14-point lead, but then Stavile is over for Zebre just before half time. Then Priscantelli, I think just after half time, gets over. The Rays conversion makes it 21 points all tied up. And then, Zebre then 20 minutes to go or so, Paella gets over for their 4th try, bonus point try. Conversion then gives us a 7-point lead. Then 10 minutes to go, Fusco goes to the bin for them. You think Dragons might have a chance to come back, but Priscantelli pops over a penalty to deny Dragons even a losing bonus point. But much better performance from Dragons. Zebre now 3 wins on the bounce, and completely transformed team. This season, especially now in this kind of middle part of the season, if they get a decent run, who knows, in the last 6 rounds, who knows what's going to happen with these guys, but very impressive from them, just in terms of now the consistency that they're producing in terms of their results, etc. On to the next one then, it is Emirates Lions 38, Hollywoodbets Sharks 14. So coming into this, Sharks, for me, were the form team in South Africa. Looked like they were on a bit of a charge. Looked like they were maybe going to hunt down the Bulls there, up the top, near the top of the table. And Lions, decent form at the start of the season, not so much, lately, but got a brilliant start. Both are over after 6 minutes. About 10 minutes later, Horn is over for the second. Then before half time, we have Mkunu in the bin for Sharks. Van der Merwe gets over for the Lions. Then just after half time, Creel with the bonus point try for them. Look like they're in complete control. Then, around about 20 minutes to go, Kearns in for their 5th try. Julius, second Sharks player to go to the bin. And then Lombard with 10 minutes to go, put some, it was Staines' conversion, put some 38 points to 0 up at that stage. Then Lombard, he then goes to the bin. And Sharks with a couple of tries at the end, Hooker and Colisi, to make the score look a little bit more respectable from their point of view. But this is all about the Lions, fantastic, resurgence from them. But they've got to find, a bit of a run now on the back of this as well. Next one then, the other South African game, Vodacom Bulls 16, they held Stormers 19. So Sharks, as I said, kind of the former team in South Africa, the Bulls, the highest placed South African team. So, you would have expected them to beat the Stormers, who haven't been having a fantastic season this year, honestly. Starts off, lots of penalties going either way. You got Mate in the opening minute for the Stormers, then Creel responds, then Mate again, then back to actually first LaRue goes to the bin for the Bulls, then Creel pops over a penalty for them, and then second one from him, give the Bulls a bit of a lead, but then 2 penalties in kind of 5 or 6 minutes run up to half time from Mate, and Stormers are leading at half time. In the second half then, 20 minutes to go, Vermaak scores for the Bulls. Creel's conversion then gives them a 4-point lead, but with about 15 minutes to go, Similane gets over for the Stormers, and Mate converts, and the Stormers hold on for an narrow victory in that one. So that's going to be a big boost for them. Bulls, a bit of a setback. They would have been looking at, basically putting some distance between themselves and the Sharks, but also trying to hunt down Glasgow as well. Next one then, Leinster 42, Cardiff Rugby 24. So Leinster, lots of pressure at the start of the game, and then finally McKee gets over for them, converted by Ross Byrne. Ross Byrne, who is leaving for Gloucester at the end of the season, but he showed, I think, in this game, what an asset he has been to Leinster, and what a signing he's going to be for Gloucester as well. Like, he may not have kind of the fancy stuff that the likes of Prendergast have and like Frawley behind him, but he's still a very solid player, especially at this level, and he really proved it, I think, in that game. But a couple of minutes later, Millard over for Glasgow as they respond. Then Young over, with 10 minutes to go to half time. Sheedy converts that. Cardiff leading. Looks like they're going to lead at the break, but then Boyle gets over for Leinster. Mann goes to the bin. Byrne converts it. Leinster leading at the break, and I think that was a big turning point in the game, because Cardiff were competitive up to then. Second half then, the killer combination really from Leinster. 10-minute period, Deegan, McGrath and Tector all over for tries. Game effectively over at that stage. About 20 minutes to go then, Millard gets his second for Cardiff, and then Bevan gets over with 10 minutes to go, and Cardiff at least thinking, okay, we've got a bonus point out of the game, maybe we can even get ourselves a losing bonus point. But then Russell returning for injury from Leinster, he kind of puts any doubt about that to bed with a try with 5 minutes to go. And Leinster march on, but decent performance all the same for Cardiff, especially away at Leinster. And I don't remember the last time that a Welsh team came to Dublin at the Aviva or even at the RDS and scored, 4 tries against Leinster. So fair play to them for that performance. Next, then we have Ulster 30, Scarlets 28. Another game that kind of, seesawed between these two teams. So Page over early on for the Scarlets. Some clever play from them. And then Nicholas over as well after 10 minutes. They've got a 12-point lead. And then Ulster begin to respond. So first of all, Timoney over for a try. That's converted. Then Murphy with a couple of penalties before the break. And Ulster just coming back into the game. Then just after the break, Lloyd then with a penalty 5 minutes later pops over another one for them. But in between those two penalties for Scarlets, we had another Murphy penalty. And, Scarlets then 10 minutes to go. So it's 20 minutes to go, wasn't it? Yeah, Fafita. I think it was like a breakaway try. They kind of turned the ball over, like Ulster looking to kind of just put a bit of daylight between them. Except it's Fafita. They turn the ball over. I think he went maybe about 70 odd meters to score. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of the right try. Great finish from him. And now it's Scarlets in the box seat. And, Lloyd gives them, an even more, I won't say comfortable, but I think they were only winning by a point. Was it? Let me think. So Ulster would have been on 23 at that point after that try, yeah. And Scarlets it would have been a 2-point lead, and then he gives them a 5-point lead, right? So Lloyd, penalty 10 minutes to go. Then Ulster really need to conjure something up. O'Connor gets over with just a couple of minutes left on the clock, and then Doak with the conversion, because it's tied up 28 all at that point. His conversion then proves to be the winning kick for Ulster. But again, great performance from Scarlets. Ulster, they've been in the doldrums lately, so this is going to be a real boost for them. I think pick up a win, even if it was a tight win and no bonus point try for them. But I don't think they're going to care for Ulster at the moment. It's about results, and they got that in that game. Next then, Connacht 38, Benetton 30. So another one that kind of swung between the teams. Connacht with a brilliant start. Tracy over after 5 minutes. Then 12 minutes Bolton over for the second. They're leading 12 points to 0. Then Benetton start coming back in them. Albanos with a penalty. Then they have 3 tries. Mendy, Urin, and Zanon. Zanon's, his finish for his try was excellent as well. Then Albanos with a penalty as well. And suddenly Benetton in complete control of the game. But Connacht then give themselves a bit of a lifeline. Boyle getting over just before half time for them. Then into the second half, Hurley Langton gets over for Connacht, and it looks like maybe that they're going to be able to come back over the top of Benetton, but Albanos penalty then brings Benetton up to 30 points, and Connacht then 15 minutes to go, Bolton gets over, and now they're leading by a point, but it's very, very close between these two teams. And into the last 10 minutes then, Devine gets a 6th try for Connacht. Hanrahan converts it, and that conversion in the end denies Benetton a losing bonus point. So, and then Benetton, towards the end, were trying to get that 4th try that would give them the 4 try bonus point, but also a losing bonus point in the game, but couldn't quite do it. So I think a brilliant, result for Connacht, against a Benetton team who, kind of, they looked like they were coming back into form, and then, a couple of results then you kind of wonder, is it there for them? Obviously, a lot of players away with Italy for the Six Nations, etc. But still, you look at how Zebre are doing with players missing as well, and you think maybe Benetton might need to recruit a couple of players to just get a bit more depth for this these kind of rounds for next year. Then final game of the weekend: Glasgow Warriors 31, Ospreys 32. So some amazing performances from kind of underdog teams this weekend. But Ospreys beating Glasgow, who are second in the league, away from home, is the reason why I've got to represent them wearing their jersey here, because that was a fantastic performance from them. They get a brilliant start in this one. So Morris over after 3 minutes. 10 minutes later, Hardy is over. Then they have the third try, Parry, just a few minutes later for them. Then Pendium swings towards Glasgow. Man is over. Then Schickering. Yeah, Schickering, right, is the guy's name. He's over. 5 minutes to go to half time. And then, you're thinking, okay, it's been a bit busy. And then we get another couple of tries before the break. First, Giles for Ospreys gets their bonus point try before half time. Then Schickering with the third for Glasgow, keeping them in the contest. Then in the second half, it dies down a little bit until about 10 minutes to go, and things go crazy again. Cordero over for the Warriors, and it looks like maybe Warriors are gonna do what they've been able to do in recent seasons, kind of winning tight games and just being able to outscore the opposition when it's kind of high scoring like this. But then Hardy, he goes over, puts Ospreys back in front, and then 2 minutes to go, Macbeth scored what he probably thought was the winning try of the game. Weir converts it, and Glasgow looking good with a 2-point lead. But then final minute of the game, where clock's actually in the red, and Walsh pops over a penalty, lands a great kick to give Ospreys a narrow win, but a fantastic win away from home for them. Brilliant performance from them, and you can see from the fact that both teams scored 5 tries, like Glasgow, certainly in attack weren't having an off night. Ospreys really did have to dig in and produce some fantastic stuff to win that one. Okay, so let's have a look at the table. So first of all, we got Leinster, number 1 spot, 12 from 12, 57 points, 13-point gap down to Glasgow, which is a good cushion for them because they're going into the South African tour for them. Everyone is expecting them to lose both games and probably not even get bonus points out of either of those. So, the fact that they have that cushion and they will be leading the table, after round 14 is done, is a big thing for them. It will be tight in the run-in, because you expect, Glasgow or whoever will have closed that down significantly by the time those two are done. Glasgow then in second with 44 points. At the moment, at least, probably looking over the shoulder more than towards Leinster. That probably will change if they can get a couple of wins on the bounce and really start putting pressure on them. Third place then is the Bulls on 41. Fourth, the Sharks. They had a chance to leap over the Bulls there, but not a very good performance away to the Lions from them there on to close the gap. And obviously they couldn't leap over them, but to close the gap to the Bulls, they're on 34 points. Munster then in 5th place on 33. We got Cardiff in 6th place on 31. Then just a point back, Edinburgh in 7th on 30. A point back again, 8th place Connacht on 29. Again, they're always, if you're in 8th place, you're the team that everyone is targeting, because they want that spot. They want to be in the playoffs. Then we have 5 teams on the same points coming next. So 9th, Lions on 28, 10th, Scarlets on 28, 11th, Ospreys on 28, 12th, Stormers on 28, and 13th, Benetton Rugby on 28. So, very, very bunched up there. Just a point back then, Ulster in 14th on 27, and then only 2 points back, Zebre with that brilliant run of form, 3 wins on the trot in 15th on 25 points, and then adrift there at the bottom, 16th to Dragons on 8 points. So, very tight in the league. And if you look at it as well, between 4th place Sharks and 15th place Zebre, there's only 9 points separating the teams. That is absolutely crazy. There's, at this stage of the league, there's no way really to predict who's going to be in that final 8. There's you look at it there and you think, okay, the top 3, maybe you would expect all of them to make it, but then that's 5 more spots up for grabs, right? And it's 5 spots up for grabs between how many teams? It's 12 teams, right? So you got the Sharks all the way down to Zebre. So 5 of those 12 teams are going to make the playoffs, but week to week now, over the run in the final 6 rounds, it's the whole picture is going to change every time, and it's hugely exciting. If you're a rugby fan, if you're a URC fan, this so far has been one of the most exciting league campaigns, at least the regular season, that we've had so far. And URC, you have to say, it's been delivering year on year. It's getting more competitive and more exciting, and it's brilliant to see. It's also brilliant to see we still got Cardiff up there in the top 8. We don't want the Welsh teams kind of falling away at this stage, but in fairness to them, you've got Cardiff in 6th, Scarlets 10th, and Ospreys in 11th. And they're all right in there. Like Scarlets and Ospreys just a point behind Connacht there in the playoff places. You do have Dragons kind of adrift there, but other than that, it's certainly been the best season to date that we've seen from the Welsh teams, in the URC era as well. So that's good to see. But very exciting times. Let me know what you think down in the comments.